Hello everyone. Today I am going to show you how to set up URL monitoring in Azure. So for demo purpose, I have created the VM. Name of the VM is tk-vm and I have already enabled port 80 in the network security group settings. So now let's go to the VM. On my VM, I have already installed IS. So if I open the browser, if I type localhost, so it shows me the default IIS homepage. I've also created another test page, test.htm. So this is it. Now let's see if we are able to access this outside the VM. So the IP address is 52.148.86.104. So let's copy this. Let's paste it here. Test.htm. There you go. So now let's begin setting up URL monitoring. In Azure, you have a service named Application Insights. So if you search for Insights, that will show up in the list. So I go to Application Insights. I click on Create. My subscription name is already selected. Let's name it app ins-test. My VM is in Southeast Asia, so let's keep application inside also in the same region. So when I am creating application inside, it's going to create a log analytics workspace. So the default names, it's just a demo, so it's fine. Tags are not required. Let's click on create. Okay, this was fast. It hardly took less than a minute. So let's go to the Azure resource app inside. Now on app inside test, you will find availability. Let's click on availability. So for now, I don't have any tests listed here. So let's click on add classic test. I'll copy my URL. I'll name it test URL. So name of the test, then it's going to ping the URL. Then I have the URL parse dependent request. When enabled, the test request images, scripts, style files, and other files that are part of the web page under test. So it's a simple web page, so let's leave it unchecked. And frequency, the minimum frequency possible is 5 minutes, so let's keep it that. And test location, so for now 5 locations are selected. It's going to ping your URL from following 5 locations. So if I want, let's say my work location is US and my client is in UK. I want to set up the monitoring from both the locations, so I can choose both. So for demo, I have randomly chosen 5 locations. So let's scroll down further. Success criteria, it's HTTP response 200. Alerting is enabled, so it's going to send out alert. And to configure the alert, it tells me please use open rules alerts page. So we'll go to this page in a minute. So for now, let's click on create. Okay, so let's wait for a minute. Okay, so I can see test URL has been created. It shows grayed out, but if you remember the time interval was 5 minutes. So it's going to ping from 5 locations in 5 minutes. In the meantime, let's go ahead, click on open rule alerts, and let's configure the alerting part. So this is the name of our test, and as you can see, failed location greater than or equal to 2. So out of the 5 locations, it's gonna trigger an alert only if it fails from more than 2. So action, let's click on add action group. I'm creating a new action group. The default subscription and the resource group, I'm fine with that. Action group name, let's keep it my name. -ACTGRP, it's easy to identify. Notification, there are different types. So I'm going to choose email SMS. Email address, I'll give my personal email address here. So let's click on OK. Let's give it a name. Action, no action is required. Tags not required. I click on create. So when you create an action group, when you mention the email address, automated email will be triggered out. Just a confirmation, just a notification to the email recipient that you have been configured for this action group. So our monitoring configuration and alert configuration has been done. Okay, now we need to wait for a few seconds before it actually starts green. And if you scroll up, right now we don't have any graph here, but at every ping it shows me the graph. And if I'm receiving 50% response, or if I have 0% response, it shows the line graph here. So now just let's wait for 5-10 minutes. Okay, so it's been around 20 minutes or so. So let's see what is the status. I refresh it. Okay. Okay. So as we can see, we had set it up around 9:20 and the time right now is about 9:40. So in 20 minutes, Azure has sent out 23 pings, and the average latency it shows up is 171 microseconds. And from all the location, West US, UK West, Southeast Asia, Japan, East Asia, it shows it's healthy. It's not showing me the latency, the response time from individual location, maybe because we have limited data available now, but even for individual location it shows up. Now if I want to look at or if I expand this, I can select it and expand this. So these are the ping responses, and in 20 minutes, every 5 minutes it checks, and it's checking from each of the 5 locations. So when I click on it, I can see the details. So West US, it's successful, 337 microseconds. Then I have from Japanese, then I have from Southeast Asia. Southeast Asia, the response time is very fast. It's just 3 microseconds, because my availability test, my virtual machine, and the ping location, it's from Southeast Asia, all are in one region, so it's super quick. So these are all the ping responses, 23 of those. So now let's go back to the server. This was my URL. Let me refresh. Let me copy the URL. Let's copy paste it again. Is it still working? Yes, it's still working. Let me remove the test.html and have a look at the it's working. So now let me check from my local machine. Now let me check the default page. Perfect. Now I will go ahead and intentionally stop the IIS server. So this is it. I click on stop. So IIS server has been stopped. Let's wait for a few seconds. And let's try local host and the other URL, which is localhost test.htm. So both shows me an error. Can't reach this page. Let me try outside this VM. Outside this VM, I'll be trying the public IP of the VM, HTTP. This should show me the default home page, but it won't. And the other one was test.htm. So localhost and localhost test.htm on the server, it cannot be reached. And on my local machine with the public IP also, it cannot be reached. So let's check what's the status and app inside. It's been some 20-25 minutes. Let's refresh. Okay, so if I zoom in further on this, so this is the period when my IIS was working fine. We had 100% response, and this is where I stopped the IIS service. It has gone to 0%. Now this has also gone from green state to warning state. So earlier it was showing only successful 29. Now it shows failed as well. If I click on failed, I can click on the arrow and it would show me the details. So the reason it shows is connection attempt failed because a connected party did not properly respond. Now let me show you my email. When I created the action group for the email, this is how the email looks like. You have been added to Azure Monitor Action Group. And when the URL went offline, the alert I got looks something like this. So the subject line shows Azure Monitor Alert activated for availability test. And if you remember, we had set up a condition, trigger an alert only if it fails from more than 2 locations. Let me quickly show you once again. Field location greater than 2. So this is how the alert looks like. It tells me the time, the test name. It has failed for 2 or more locations. So this was in the beginning when it had failed only from 3 locations. It triggered an alert, but eventually it failed from all 5. Now I'll go back to the server. I'll start the service once again. localhost website has loaded up this time. Even localhost test.htm has loaded. Let's refresh. This might take time. Okay, so this has showed up immediately. Even this has showed up. And the monitoring would take some time. Ping check happens once in 5 minutes. So when the next ping happens, the graph which went from 100% to 0%, again it would be back to 100%. So I'm hoping this one should be the first one to go green. Let's refresh. So I can see there have been few more successful, and failed has stopped right there, 32. So if we zoom in on this, it was working fine earlier. We stopped the IS service, it went to 0%. We started the IS service, it went to again 100%. So let's refresh it. It is at 50% for the time being because there were 37 success and 32 failed. So it's rounding it off to 53% success rate. But eventually it will move towards 100%. But in the graph, the current graph, you can clearly see it's 100% pingable. So this was in our video for today. If you found this video useful, please like the video and subscribe to my channel for more such videos. Thank you so much for watching.